Hey, Jerry here with Screaming Geek Media. Before we get started, I want to welcome you to my dungeon. Didn't have a good backdrop in the house. We got a small house, so I've been banished to the unfinished basement. Before we begin, if you like physical media or anything associated with it, movies, and you want to keep up to date on my channel, please like it and subscribe. Turn your bell notifications on, and you can see more of my charming personality whenever I show up. If not, I will hunt you down and kill you. Sorry, I've been watching Chuck Dunham lately. Anyways, let's just jump right in. We got Sam Raimi's Spider-Man Trilogy. These movies came out in 2002, 2004, 2007. Starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and James Franco. For the villains, we have Green Goblin, of course. We have William Dafoe playing him. In the second one, we have Alfred Molina playing Dr. Otto Octavius, Doc Ock. In third, we have Topher Grace playing Venom, Eddie Brock. And Thomas Hayden Church playing Flint Marko, a.k.a. the Sandman. I still remember watching the first teaser trailer for Spider-Man back in 2001. Aired right before the tragic events of the 9/11. Teaser started off with some guys robbing a bank and escaping in a helicopter. The helicopter's flying away. All of a sudden gets pulled back and caught in a big giant web. And as the camera pans out, you could see a big web in between the two twin towers. Of course, that aired just not long before the 9/11. If you want to check that trailer out, I've added a link down in the description. I've always loved Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. He's always felt down to earth. I have not watched the Amazing Spider-Mans yet, so I can't judge Andrew Garfield yet, but that will be soon. I've got them on 4K as well. Although I do like Tom Holland and the new Spider-Man trilogy within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just feel it's over the top. They are a lot of fun, but the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire just made it feels more grounded, and everything just feels more natural. Of course, we can't talk about Spider-Man trilogy without the number 3, which I think has become the stepchild of the bunch, I guess you could say. I think a lot of it has to do with Sam Raimi not having total control. The studios pressured him into making a lot of changes from the original script, so it didn't come out the way he wanted. Even some of the interviews I've read that he was not happy with the final product. That's why he bowed out of doing Spider-Man 4. And of course, the studio was going to go with a new director, but Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst stepped up and said, hey, if Sam ain't going to do it, we're not involved either. So Spider-Man 4 got scrapped, and then they rebooted and gave us Amazing Spider-Man. And now after all these years, with Tobey was involved with the newest Spider-Man No Way Home, there's talk of redeveloping Spider-Man 4, so we'll see what happens there. This 4K release came out in February, nothing special. There was a limited edition 4K release put out in 2017. There are some differences, we'll talk about that later, but first with this one, like I said, nothing special. Front, back, all three of them are in one case. And they got the larger hub, so 2 of them are actually on one, which I hate when they stack disc. So I'm going to put these all in individual cases with custom artwork, which I will share later in another episode once the covers are done. Now, all 3 films were shot on 35mm and finished with a 4K digital intermediate. No Dolby Vision, just standard HDR10. For the audio, all 3 have Dolby Atmos. For the Blu-ray versions had Dolby True 5.1 or DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, depending on what versions. The Spider-Mans have probably a million versions out there, so have fun sorting that out. For a video presentation, starting out with number 1, I would say is probably the weakest of the bunch because it's the oldest. Seems it lacked a lot of detail, didn't have the depth that you normally expect. There was some pops of color. The blacks were solid, which is usual. The festival scene in the first one also saw some pretty good colors there. I think overall the nighttime shots are where the movie really shined. You saw a lot of depth and detail, shadows, The Green Goblin costume looked freaking awesome. You can actually see the matte finish I never noticed before. The raindrops in the scene with MJ and Spidey, right before they kissed, you can see the raindrops across her face, really, really detailed. Number 2, I didn't really have any standout points I didn't jot down. Nothing really wowed me. 3, much of the same. Some highlights was grain texture when he got stuck in the test facility. Scene with Jonah Jameson, his spotted tie really stood out. The jazz club scene, blacks really shined. But overall, the presentation of this trilogy was a bit of a letdown. Sony normally does a really good job with their movies. You look at releases like Cliffhanger, Fifth Element, Starship Troopers, and the most recent Ghostbusters. They do a phenomenal job with their releases. So this one, meh. It was disappointing. Yes, I'm not saying they're bad, but they could have done better. When you watch a 4K, you expect to be wowed. This doesn't deliver. Yes, it is better than the Blu-rays. You'll see with the screenshots. You'll see are compared with my Blu-ray set from 2007. That's going to differ because, again, there were so many versions available. Then recently, before 4K, they did a set that the titles were mastered in 4K for the Blu-ray release. So you're going to see a lot of variations. For the audio, like I said before, these all 3 do come with a Dolby Atmos track. I don't have Dolby Atmos set up, so I have to judge from a 5.1 perspective. Nothing spectacular to write home about with the audio. For me, the standout in the first one was Danny Elfman's score. It really shined. I cranked it up, it sounded incredible. Some decent bass extension here and there, clear dialogues. Nothing to write home about. Number 2, some highlights. The surrounds really sucked you in at certain scenes. The fusion demonstration scene with Doc Ock. As the arms, everything going around, you do feel like you're there. Things are whooshing around you. The same effect happens in number 3 in the test facility when it gets stuck. Got all the grain flying around. So if you're looking for good demo material, these would not be it. I'm sorry to say. Now onto the special features. There are none. Sony opted out by they wanted to save some money and make as much money as they could on a Spider-Man craze. So they did not produce any of the Blu-rays for this set. No bonus disc. And basically the bonus features are listed as cast and crew profiles, which just gives you a picture. So they really dropped the ball with that. I can kind of understand, they want to save some money, that bottom line, eliminate cost. But would have been nice to have something. I know we all complain about seeing the same bonus over and over, but the point is, if you have the bonus with a new release, you can get rid of your old ones. Now, if you like bonus features, you got to hang on to your old ones and have more stuff on your shelves. Okay, some of the differences between this one and the 2017 release on 4K. It actually had a couple of releases. The first one was just of the original trilogy. Had a 7-disc set, 3 4Ks, 3 Blu-rays, and an extra Blu-ray bonus. Among the hours and hours of bonus features in that set, it also included Spider-Man 2.1 cut, and also the Spider-Man 3 editor's cut. Again, those were never mastered in 4K, so they opted out. They didn't put them on a 4K disc. They're only on the Blu-rays. So since they opted out of eliminating the Blu-rays from this set, we get none of those two. Well, the editor's cut, I think, is actually a couple minutes shorter on the Spider-Man 3, so I wouldn't call it extended, but it's a different cut. I've read that they say it's a little bit better. I've never seen it. That 2017 set is out of print. A year or so ago, I saw the set going for about $90, but at the moment, I can't find the listings anywhere, so it's very hard. I think with the new set having nothing, people are hanging on and wanting the original set. There was another set put out in 2017 called the Legacy set, and included all 3 I think a total of 12 discs, I want to say. Had all the stuff from the other Spider-Man trilogy, plus the Amazing Spider-Man set. So I had 5 movies and all, the different cuts, all the bonus. And that one is out of print as well. And you can get those. Those ones are about $200, I believe. But in the end, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony tries cashing in again in another year or so by putting out an ultimate box set with all the films. So we'll have to wait and see what Sony does in the future, if they're going to put out a big box set, if they're going to include the animated or not. But I'm sure they're going to keep whipping them out to get as much money as possible. I don't want to rag on Sony too much, because normally with their 4K releases, they set the bar really high, so you go in with a lot of expectations. I think that's what was wrong with this, is you do expect a lot, and then you don't get it. So that pretty much does it for this review. Hopefully my next one will be a little bit more positive. Until next time, turn off the lights, crank up the volume, and enjoy the show. Peace.